Hello, I am author Ellie Hall, and I would like to welcome you to the Sweet and Swoony Spotlight, where I discuss some background and story secrets about my Sweet and Swoony romance audiobooks. Today's spotlight is on Christmas in Hawkridge Hollow. It is the final book in the Rich and Rugged series, and so this will kind of conclude this portion of the Sweet and Swoony Spotlight, but don't worry, I will be back with more books, and so let's hear a little bit more about Francesca Costa is a spontaneous, lively chef who escapes to the mountains to get some peace from the demands of her family and job after she loses the lease on her restaurant. She wants to regroup and figure out her next steps. What she doesn't expect is the bear on the front porch of the family cabin, or the bear of a man who... Rocky Hawkins is a serious private mountain man who once had it all, a successful hockey career and heir to the Hawkins family fortune. After his father added a stipulation to his will, he and his brothers went their separate ways, breaking the family apart. He escaped to the mountains to live a quiet life. Then a beautiful woman moves in next door. She brings him cookies to say thank you for scaring off a bear. It's the neighborly thing to do. He only resists because the Costas and Hawkins families are not supposed to like each other. But it's nearly Christmas, the time of forgiveness, family, and food. She doesn't want him to be alone, and her attempt to reunite them over a meal fails. He just won't let any sweetness into his life, but he does want her, even though she's not looking for a relationship. They're not looking for a miracle, but they might just need one. And so, as I've mentioned, this entire series has had numerous makeovers, including covers and titles, and this is the latest one, but there are a few other iterations from before. So let's talk a little bit about the characters. Francesca goes by Frankie. She is the youngest of 7. She has 6 older brothers, which I will talk about as you continue watching. She is spunky, sassy, and fiery. As for John Rocky Hawkins, he goes by Rocky. He is also the youngest of 5 brothers, but he's certainly not a baby. He is a mountain man, pretty tough. He's a former professional hockey player and is a loner on the mountain. Okay, let's talk about tropes. One of the biggest ones is Frankie and Rocky uncover a long-standing family feud that she didn't know about, but he did. There's also spontaneous versus serious. There is also slow burn between the two of them and their neighbors. They get stranded during a storm. And last but not least, takes place in a small town, small resort ski town, which I will talk about in the fun fact. So let's talk about some fun facts. I modeled Hawkridge Hollow after a photograph I saw of Whistler in Canada. It just was so enchanting with the light and the snow. It was a nighttime shot, and I was just like, oh, it just looks so magical. And I feel the town is best represented during Christmas, which a little teaser I will get to in a moment. And so since this does take place with the backdrop of Christmas time, the resort and the town and the shops and everything is just all aglow and decorated and so. And then something else about the two of them is that they're both escaping the spotlight, but in their own ways. So she was just had it in the city with all the demands and pressures and then losing her restaurant, whereas he was a professional hockey player and something happened in his career and he just wanted out and really isolated himself from his team, from his family, and of course she opens his heart again as things happen in romance. And then also they both have brothers. They both come from big families. So she has 6 brothers. They're all older. They're all overprotective, which factors in for sure in the in the story. And then he has 4 brothers, and they weren't really on speaking terms. There were some problems, but don't worry, it all works out because there's not only a happily ever after for the 2 love interests, but of course for the families as well. So hopefully that wasn't much of a spoiler or anything, but everything always works out in the end. And I just want to share a few other things. So this was the second series that I ever wrote, and I really felt like I'd kind of hit my stride in some ways. And this book, don't tell the other books in the series, but this book in particular, I think is my favorite from the Rich and Rugged Hawkins Brothers series. I love writing Brothers series, and I love writing Christmas series, which leads me to something really fun and exciting. So as I mentioned, Frankie has 6 older brothers. They're all overprotective, they all are big personalities, they have a coast of confidence, all of it. And a special bonus is if you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll have access to a bonus chapter from the end of Christmas at Hawkridge Hollow, where you get to meet her brothers a little bit more. And then I also wrote an entire Christmas series that takes place in Hawkridge Hollow, and each of the books where each of the brothers gets their own story, their own love story, their own happily ever after. And these books I will also link below. It's a lot of fun to get to see them and see their parents, and Frankie has some cameos. Also, if you enjoyed listening to the books but you'd like your own copies in ebook format, there's a box set, so all 5 of the books are in one. You can buy them all together, and there is a little bit of fun bonus material there too. So I recently had a reader mention that she'd love to hear what authors' favorite parts of their books are, so I thought it would be fun to add to the Sweet and Swoony Spotlight feature a little excerpt of my favorite part from the book. So here we go. He shook his head and started toward the door. Just like that, it seemed like a switch had flipped. His switch flipped her switch. The fiery, red-hot candies burned in her mouth. As she spoke, she wanted the words to scorch. Don't you have feelings, Rocky? It was like he'd been hibernating up on the mountain, and just when he'd started to come back to life, he'd suddenly shut down. He turned from the door and his temple twitched. If I had feelings at all, feelings for anyone, they'd be for you. But I don't. She found her way between the harshness in his words. You're lying. I know you have feelings. I'm not afraid to say that I have them. I have feelings for you, Rocky Hawkins. She strode over to him. Oh, and look, I didn't explode. The world didn't end. Nothing bad happened when I told the truth. The truth? He shook his head. Not yet, he said in a warning tone. Nothing bad has happened yet. You just won't let yourself get close. There is no denying the spark between us. She held his gaze, not backing down. He was the picture of conflict, soft eyes, a wrinkled forehead, his lips on the edge of a scowl, but the part of him that sided with Frankie must have won because he leaned in and planted his lips on her mouth, silencing her. That was my favorite, I think, section of the book because there's just so much tension and it's just bubbling over, and I love that. And so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Sweet and Swoony Spotlight series featuring the Rich and Rugged books taking place in Hawkridge Hollow, a small town. So just remember, you can get these books in paperback, ebook, a box set, which is digital, of course, audiobook, which I hope you've listened to. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, and I'd love to get your feedback and what you think about these books and the Sweet and Swoony Spotlight series, what you'd like to see more of, or what books you'd like to see featured. So I thank you again, and please do like, subscribe, and